guys, good morning. Sorry, I'm in a massive rush this morning. I've meant to have a parcel delivered before 10 o'clock. So it hasn't come. So we will at some point in the video have the dogs going crazy, probably have to take delivery of a parcel through the window, but we'll see how we go. It's going to get noisy, I'm afraid. It's been a manic morning. So I had 3 TV shows yesterday, so I'm pretty tired today. So it's been a bit of a later morning. I've been rushing around, emptying out the car of all the stock, getting the study ready, but I'm here. So good morning, happy Tuesday. I hope you had a lovely video with Kitty yesterday. I haven't yet had a chance to catch up on it, but I think you're using the wax cotton cords and some lovely beads to get a really nice weaving effect. It's a beautiful necklace. So today I'm going to make some bracelets. We're going to be using the crystal rondelles. They are a 3x4mm, so a really nice little one, which will give you a lovely little bling. I'm also going to use round hematites and also hematite snake drums, which is something a little bit different. You might not have seen them before. Let me pick up a light coloured one so that you can maybe see it on the camera, hopefully. So they've got a really lovely shape to them. They actually all interlock into each other. And they kind of look like snake scales when they're all together. I'll show you once I turn you down onto the mat a bit more. But you can get some beautiful shapes and textures from them as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go and say good morning to everybody. Morning, Antida. Hi, Margaret. Alicia, Judith, Diane, Helen, Debbie, Lourdes, Margaret, Kelly. Kelly from Australia. Good morning. Mum says chill, hun. I'm sorry, I'm a bit... it's been a bit crazy. Good morning, Karen. Hi, Lucy. Morning, lovely. Learnt Kumihimo with thread last night. Trying it with beads today. Lovely. So we were doing that on... Gosh, what day were we doing Kumihimo? It must have been Saturday or Sunday. Doesn't it all just merge into one? But we're learning some fabulous techniques. So Lucy, I'm glad that that helped and you've managed to master that one. Good morning, Alison. Hi, Anne, Brenda, another Margaret, Mina. I did watch you on your 11:15 show yesterday. Yeah, so I had a double hour yesterday, 11:15 through until, what would that have been, about 12:30? And then had another one in the evening as well. Really busy day. Good morning, Marion. Hi, Sharon, Patricia, Diane. Lovely. Got so many of you. What else? Right, okay, so I've got Kitty on here. So if you have any questions about anything this morning, oh, Anne's saying she loves hematite. Yeah, these beads are beautiful. If you've got any questions, then Kitty will answer them while we're going live. I will also try to keep an eye on the comments as well. We're just going to do some nice simple stringing today and using culottes and crimp beads. So I'm going to make a little cluster of bracelets. So I quite like to wear lots of bracelets at once. So I'm going to make one, probably just using the Hematite Rounds, maybe with a bit of crystal, and then some snake drums as well so that you can see. So I'm going to turn you down in a moment so that you can have a little look. Lucy says, I watched you yesterday morning, lovely roses, but I stopped myself buying as I wanted to save money for beads. Oh, Lucy, you've had a craft crossover now, so beads have taken over. Good morning, Marcia. Hi, Dean and Maxine. Lovely. Okay, so I'll let you know about the bundles first of all. Now, I ran and grabbed my iPad before we started, but the battery's dead, so I can't show you the bundles today. But if you pop over onto the link in the description of this video, and I'm sure Kitty will put up a link in the video as well, you will be able to pop over to the website and have a little look at the bundles that we've got on offer today. Now, there is a free download as well. So within the free download, you're going to learn how to attach your crimp beads, how to fix your culotte, opening and closing jump rings, attaching some chain. So when we do necklaces, Kitty always adds in these beautiful instructions so that you can master each technique and you can follow that step by step. There's also making your pair of earrings as well. This is your hematite snake jewellery kit, we've called it. And then you've also got all the different drums, as you can see here, and lots of different patterns that you can use for your bracelets, your necklaces, and how you can use the components to make different shaped earrings. So because they are a bit of a unique shaped bead, It's going to show you, hopefully, ways that you can learn to use them to really showcase the shape of them and mix them all into your jewellery. So I'm going to make 3 bracelets, providing we get time and we're not too distracted. We'll see how we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn you down so that I can show you some of these beads. Lucy says, I'm obsessed with beads now. I've been naughty and ordered the crystal and snake beads, Mina. I don't think that's naughty at all. I think that's very clever. So I'll tell you about the bundles, actually, the prices that we've got for them. I'll show you the beads first of all, because that's going to be more interesting. Okay. So these are the 3 types of beads that we're going to use today. Now, your amazing crystal bundle, these are the crystal rondelles. So rondelles are more of an oval shaped bead. If you imagine a round crystal squashed at the top and the bottom, so it gives you a bit more of an oval shape. Look at these colours, they're absolutely beautiful. I think that's all of them in there. So you have 10 strands in all. These are your 3 by 4mm rondelles. Now normally for your 10 strands it's £25. These are on offer today and they are down to £15.99. So amazing value for money. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I've got all of them there. So that's all the beautiful colours that you're going to be getting. Then you've also got your Hematite Rounds. Now these we were using in our Kumihimo. So if you got them on the day that we were doing Kumihimo, then fantastic. I'm going to show you another little use for those. There are some of the most amazing colours and finishes in here. And being hematite, they've got that beautiful, cool finish. I love these 2. Look at this sort of chocolate. It goes beautifully with all my rose gold and the blue in there as well. So you've got a shiny and a matte finish in most of your colours. Now with your Hematite Rounds, these are 4mm, 16 strands. Now they would normally be £40. As you know, hematite can be a little bit pricier than some of our other beads because you are getting the most amazing quality. And I just wish you could feel how cool these are. When you're wearing them, they just give you the most lovely finish and feel to your skin. So you've got all 10 strands. No, sorry, in these ones you've got 16 strands. They're normally £40 and they are down to £29.99. So again, amazing value for money. And then the drums. So I'm going to show you these ones now. These are your snake drums. And now I've turned you down, you'll be able to see the shape a little better too. So can you see how it gives you like a snake scale finish when they're all interlocked in together? So they have a bit of a jaggedy edge top and bottom, which will allow them to interlink, but it also means that if you put little spaces in between them, then you're going to get a lovely little finish as well. They kind of hug some of the round and the crystal beads that we're going to use today. I think these ones are just beautiful. And of course, the colours are going to work in conjunction with all the rest of your bundles as well. So these are fab. I'll show you some of the finished samples. Kitty has sent me lots down, which is really great. So I can show you how to make the most of them. Now, your hematite drums, the snake drums, you can see here, if you put them with your rounds and your crystals, you can break them down. And these are the patterns that will be on your free PDF download. So you could use them just to kind of crown in across some of the beads. You could use them just interspaced with a round, and it gives you a beautiful fluid finish. So the drums are actually a smaller strand, so you're going to use them as a feature bead. Lucy says, oh, I want it all. Leslie says, good morning, Sarah. Hi, Leslie. So you've got, use some of your other beads, your spacers, up at the top if you're going to do a necklace. So here we've just got the Hematite Rounds, and then use the drums to actually give you a feature at the front of your necklace. Mixing up your colours is going to allow you to showcase some of those shapes even more as well. So adding in some of your softer colour crystals. Let's pop these in. Lovely necklaces. So look, you can either use the drums on the whole length or use your rounds to create that added length and have these as a feature in the middle. Now you can also use them, just as the instructions will show you, to create earrings as well. So if you know that you want to add on a pair of earrings into your makes, I would set aside those beads first of all, because you're only going to need a few, but you want to make sure that you've got them set aside so that when it actually comes to making your necklace and or bracelets, you know you've got these separate as well. so that you know you can make your earrings. Okay, so I'm gonna crack on and we're going to make a few bracelets. So I'm going to be threading onto Tigertail wire. I think we'll do silver findings today. So I've got culottes and also crimp beads, and then I'll need my clasps as well. I'll need jump rings at some point, which I don't have to hand because they're not in my little box, but I'll find them afterwards. Okay, so with your Tigertail wire, you can either measure it around your wrist, making sure that you leave quite a bit. I would normally cut it about there. So what's that? Probably about 20-25 centimetres. Always leave a little bit extra just so that you know you've got enough for your culottes and your clasps. That way you can always come back and double over yourself as well. I think I'm going to use the chocolate today. So I think I'm going to take... Oh, we've also got the matte finishes. So both of those look really nice, don't they? And I'll do that in the rounds as well. What we're thinking, that's quite nice. It's probably not as sparkly on the video, actually. Maybe pick something a little bit lighter. Should we go for golds? Look, all of these look so beautiful together. Then we'll go for chocolates. We don't very often use chocolates, do we? So let's do that. Okay, we're going to use these ones. First of all, I think we'll just go for a very simple bracelet. Let's mix in, so that they all tie together, I'm going to mix in the round hematite beads, and then I'm going to use the drums and the crystals together. So just take your beads off of your strand. Now, a few weeks ago, Kitty actually did a video whereby she showed you just threading your Tigertail wire straight onto your strand of beads. So if you've got larger makes to thread on, sometimes that can be a really great way. Should we mix in a bit of bling as well? That can be a really great way of threading your components on super quickly if you're only just going to use one size of bead. Here I'm going to mix up a few. So I've just taken some of my hematite rounds in my matte and sparkly finish. I've got two stuck together here, so I'm just going to try and separate those. If you ever get beads stuck together, these are crystals, so I'm probably anticipating that this will mark them, but if you've got oh, I did it without them crushing, fabulous. If you've got beads stuck together, just take your little pliers and just pinch them in the middle. Obviously with crystals there was a danger there that I could have cracked them, but they didn't. So I'm going to alternate between let's do a crystal in between each one. I'm going to do a crystal, a shiny hematite round, a crystal, and then a matte finish. And this will just give me a really nice bracelet. So you'll see I'm using the Tigertail just like a wire. Just as a needle, using the wire as the needle. And I'm just going to pick them up straight from the mat. This will give me a really lovely finish. And then we'll use our drums to create a feature necklace next to it. Probably should have separated them out, but hey ho. So I'm just using my wire, tipping the bead onto the edge and allowing the needle to go right through. So it makes it nice and easy, nice and quick. And I've kept my wire on my spool so that I can just thread the beads all the way down. I don't need to worry about them coming off on the other end. If you have some of those nice little spring clips that Kitty sometimes uses, then you could attach that onto the end. But because I know it's a bracelet, it's a little bit shorter, I'll probably end up losing the beads off the end. So I'm just going to leave it on the spool. There's another two stuck together. So I'll take that out for now. And I'm just going to thread these on until we get the length that we need for our bracelet. Gosh, lots of these ones are stuck together this morning. So what have you been baking over the last few days? Obviously, Lucy said she was making her Kumihimo. You've mastered it. Well done. Hope you found the video useful. Going to try and master the beads as well. Has everybody joined the Facebook group? So we've got the Totally Handmade Facebook group. There you can actually go and find everybody else from the videos. Some of you are sharing inspiration and the makes that you've been busy with, which is really lovely. And we love to see, Kitty and I absolutely love to see what you've been making. And hopefully we've been inspiring you over the last 13 weeks or so. Okay, so when you're making your bracelet, just thread on as much as you can before you start sizing it around your wrist. And you can see I'm going to leave probably about maybe just less than an inch for my clasp. So that would be enough for 2 of my culottes, a jump ring and my lobster claw clasp I'm going to use today. So just keep on popping it around. I'm going to add on a few more. Let's pick up a few more of our crystals. I think these beads together, these colours are beautiful. I've not actually seen the chocolate in them before. I'm wondering if these are new. But actually, I haven't been down to the warehouse since, gosh, I think it was about January or February time. Normally, I get to go and raid all of the new orders that are coming in and get to go and pick some goodies to make. So I've had to rely on, bless Kitty, going into the warehouse, picking out all the stuff for us and sending it up to me, which is the parcel that I'm waiting for. So some of our videos over the next few days, Kitty sent me up a load of goodies to be able to use. Okay, so just keep on measuring it up against your wrist. I think that's more than enough for me now. So I'm going to finish this one here because by the time I add on my findings, it's going to make it that little bit bigger as well. Now, I'm sure you would have heard Kitty mention my tiny little wrists before. So I don't normally use very many beads, which is very lucky for me because it means I get amazing value for money out of these. I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Set these aside and we'll use this in our other bracelets in a moment when I use the snake drums. So I've got the culottes here and then also our crimp beads. So the crimp beads are the teeniest, tiniest beads that we have in our findings, and they're actually a little bit soft. So I'm going to thread on one of my culottes, and I'm just going to go straight up through the middle. So you can see it's got a hole through the middle of the dome. And I'm going to add on 2 of my crimp beads. Again, just using the Tigertail wire as a needle, providing they don't spring off, and picking those up. I'm going to move it towards the end and take my flat nose pliers, and I'm just going to crush them like so. So we'll flatten those down, and then I can trim off a little bit of my tail. Still going to leave a little bit poking out of the crimp beads, bringing this one up and squashing it together, making sure that your crimp beads are inside. You can take your pliers, just close that little clamshell over, and I then like to just make sure that my 2 hoops are nice and flush together because we'll add on our jump ring and our clasp afterwards. Okay, so we'll do the same on this end. So I can cut this off of my spool now, up through the culotte, through the middle of the dome. And then once you've added on your findings on this end, just make sure, lay your bracelet on your mat or your necklace, make sure that there are no gaps in between any of your beads. And then I like to open up this culotte a little bit more, so I'm just pulling that open. And on this end, I'm actually going to use my round nose pliers just to get in there so that I can make sure it's really nice and tight. Not so tightly that any of your beads pucker. So when you actually use the drums, some of them can actually pucker out of place. So you want it to be loose enough that your beads are all going to sit. And I tend to hold it up slightly so gravity is just going to make sure there's no gap. And then I'm going to hold the crimp beads just loosely in my pliers and push it down so that I can then crush it as near to the base as I can. So my round nose pliers will allow me to get in. I can use my flat if I use the very edge. Can you see there that it's going to take me right down to that bottom? Crush those, trim up at the top, and then close this over. Look at that, just a few minutes and you've got a lovely bracelet, and we'll attach our clasp on afterwards as well. I'm going to keep this one here because I want all of my other bracelets to be the same length. I'm just going to loosen those out a little bit. And you can see that if you do it too tightly, you kind of get not much of a curve. Because my bracelets are so small, I have to leave them a little bit, I mean, it looks pathetic as a wrist, doesn't it? But it does fit, I promise. Because I have them so small, you don't want it really tight because you just won't get that curve. So just by making sure they are that little bit looser, it will give you a really nice fluid curve. So if you're making as a bespoke order, or you're making for somebody who does have very small wrists, then that's a great top tip. Just keep it that little bit looser for that curve. Okay, so with the drums, I think I might do one just with the drums as they are, and let's alternate some of the other ones with our crystals. So if you're making clusters of bracelets all to be worn together, it's really nice to actually keep all of the beads the same and mixing up. Lord says I might need those crystals. They are absolutely stunning and they just offset the hematite beautifully. The finish that you get on them is really lovely. Now with your crystals, like I said before, if any of them are stuck together, just take your round nose pliers, and can you see that I've separated them? Just like so. It's because these actually have a little finish on them. And I'm squeezing it ever so gently, because if you go too hard, you are at risk of actually damaging some of the crystal itself. Can you see I've obviously chipped one of them there? But this is going to keep them separated so we can use them. I'll just make sure I haven't chipped any of them too much. It's because they've got this beautiful coating on top of them, which is where we're getting that extra sparkle from. These are kind of like a half coat. You've got coating on one side and not on the other. Okay, so let's use our snake drums now. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, keeping my Tigertail wire on my spool, and I'm only going to use the drums and the crystals. So let's get these rounds out of the way. I've got a scoop somewhere. I'll use my ruler for now. And remember, we've got those amazing bundle deals for today. Do excuse me, I'm very sorry. I was driving into the studios yesterday and they were cutting the grass in 3 of the fields, huge big machines taking down all this grass, and I had to drive straight through the middle of all the dust, and it has played absolute havoc with me. I've been sneezing and sniffing and eyes watering ever since. So I'm a bit sniffly, but at least it's hay fever, not a cold, eh? Okay. So more of these crystals, adding them in. Now with the drums, as you can see on the instructions that you'll get as your free PDF download, you can either add them on as they are, but because on the inside of them, can you see they've got a little jaggedy edge, they also have a dome. So when you sit them with your, Marion says, bless you, thank you, Marion. When you sit them next to a round bead, it actually houses it beautifully and just sits inside that little dome. Now to match with my round hematites, I'm going to alternate between my matte finish and my shiny finish and my crystals. So it's going to give me the same finish, but using the different shaped beads. And I think that will give us a lovely little set, which will be really nice. Now, don't forget, if you were going to be making necklaces, just make sure that if you want to make earrings to match them, set aside those beads first of all, so that you don't get carried away with the length of your necklace and you don't have any beads left over for your earrings. And I'm just alternating between matte and shiny. Again, just picking them up straight from the mat. A lot of these crystals are stuck together, aren't they? I'll separate a few more in a moment. And before I've attached my clasp on, I've just left my bracelet that I've already made on the mat so that I can measure up the length between the two of them. Like so. Let's separate a few more of these. I can see that you're all answering each other's questions as well. Now, yes, I'm going to be on Create and Craft TV tomorrow morning. It's an early start. I'm going to be there for the 9 o'clock show. And if any of you have been watching Create and Craft, you'll know that they're in the middle of their Christmas event at the moment. So we have a festive beaded show for you. I have my beaded holly and mistletoe. We've got some beautiful pendant necklaces. We've also got some of Kitty's beaded Christmas trees. I think they are probably one of her most popular festive makes. We have some beautiful designs in them and colours. So you're making Christmas trees, for those of you who haven't seen them before, out of pearls and crystals, and they're absolutely stunning, and Kitty does some beautiful arrangements with them in vases and bowls and things like that, so they can be a real table centerpiece for your Christmas decorations. I think we're about halfway through here, and as you can see, things like this, when you're using shaped beads that are quite unique, you really don't have to be intricate and show-offy with your techniques. They can be really nice and simple because you just allow the beads to do the talking. So something as simple as stringing them on, but as you can see, adding in that crystal just makes them look that little bit fancier. So if you've got some gorgeous, unique beads, you don't need to be thinking about, intricate designs to show them off. Just allow them to do the talking. So with memory wire as well, I think these would look fantastic. A nice simple design. It's still going to showcase the beads enough. And I actually haven't seen these ones before. I think they're absolutely beautiful. So add on a shiny one and then a matte. Although I'm pleased the delivery guy hasn't been with my parcel yet because the dogs are obviously quiet. I need them for tomorrow's show, so I'm kind of wondering where he is. But so far we've had peace and quiet, haven't we? I've calmed down a bit. You know what it's like when you think you've got ages and then you suddenly look at the time. I think Kitty was saying a few weeks ago she was like an hour early. She thought it was like 5 to 10. It was actually 5 to 9. Unfortunately, Kitty, I haven't done that yet. I'm the opposite. I think it's 5 to 9. It's 5 to 10. Okay, so I'm nearly at the end. I'm just going to add on. So I'm just measuring it up. So I'm going to add on one more crystal. This one will be ever so slightly longer than my round, but the two of them are going to sit beautifully together. Oh, out of the way, please. Like so. Oh, perfect. They're the exact right length. So we're just going to repeat again with our culottes. Now, there's a few different types of culottes on the website. The ones that I'm using are actually the domes with the loop. So a culotte with a loop. Up through that middle dome, picking up 2 of my crimp beads, moving towards the end. And as you can see, when you leave your spool on your wire on your spool, there's no wastage either, really. Let's take this up to the top and probably trim a tiny bit off of that. Up to the top, squeezing these together and bringing my beads down. Now, again, because I want that lovely curve, I'm just going to make sure that they are not too tight. The drums, if I was to do this really tightly, I'm going to get more of a sort of jaggedy, rigid finish, which I don't want. Obviously, I want it to sit really nice and beautifully and fluid on my wrist. So I'm just going to allow them to be loosely spaced together. Up through the culotte, adding on 2 of my crimp beads. And popping this on. Okay, so I'm just going to allow them to space out that little bit more. I don't want there to be a gap, but I do want them to be nice and softly joined together. Okay, that's perfect. So then taking your flat nose pliers, just in with the very corner and crimping both of those. So I don't have any gaps in my beads, but I still know that it's got that nice fluidity. Lovely. I can't wait to wear these. I might wear these tomorrow for telly, actually. And we could even do, so when I had the tree crystals the other day and I used them as arrowheads, I made that little triple graduation earrings. These would be beautiful with that as well because I could do a round, a crystal and then a drum. Okay, I'm going to do one more bracelet I wonder, which ones shall we use? So when you're pairing things together, when you're going to make sets, always try to do, I think I'm just going to go for a crystal. Always try to do it in odd numbers because it will always give you that middle centre point. That's going to be beautiful, isn't it? I could house those. I could have those lovely little drums in the very middle. So let's do a crystal one as well. And then I'll wear these tomorrow. I know it might be a bit boring for you actually because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, but hopefully it will help you master some of your techniques. Now let's see if we can fit this through like Kitty does, and then I won't keep you for too long. So you can actually use your Tigertail thread as a needle and you can add your beads straight on. So again, I've still got my Tigertail on my spool. My crystal beads are still on the monofilament that they come on. I'm using my needle just to go straight through and picking up these beads. And actually, I'm probably going to have to make sure that some of these aren't stuck together having done that, because then I won't get a round bracelet. These two are stuck together. So I'm going to take those off. So if you're just doing one type of bead, you can thread on straight from the strand. It makes things like, if you're doing things like beaded kumihimo, that would be quite nice. If you're doing multiple layered necklaces, it was the Art Deco necklace that Kitty did this for, because she had 3 different sizes of beads, all graduating through, and she needed to use the entire strand. So that's going to make it quite quick and picking them up. So I'm just over halfway there already. Sandra says, I made my snake necklaces last week with the blue hematite kit. I absolutely love the colours. I plan to make my matching bracelet soon. Beautiful. Oh, we'd love to see pictures. If you pop onto the Facebook group, you can share the pictures. I'm sure Kitty would love to see them. The blue is absolutely stunning. I'll show you a few of the colours in a minute as well. Great for holiday wear and for summer. Not sure we'll get any summer holidays this year, but great for wearing in the summer. I think the blue hematite just looks so lovely if you wear, you know, a nice little pair of jeans or a nice blue skirt, and a white shirt. It just offsets the white beautifully. Okay, so only a few more to do, and then we've got my whole set. I'm just going to take these ones off. So if you don't want to thread them on straight from your spool, I've got a couple that are stuck together. So I'm just going to take those off like so and thread these on, and then I think that will be enough for all of my bracelets. Now what you could do if you didn't want to have individual clasps for each one of these bracelets, so of course that would mean that you would have 3 individual bracelets to wear. If you wanted to make this just one clasp, so if you struggle to get clasps on yourselves, you could of course use a magnetic clasp. You could use just one lobster claw clasp. You can attach these together with a jump ring, and I'm going to grab a jump ring in a minute. Perfect. Oh, sorry, you can't even see them, can you? I'm just lining that up and making sure I've got the right length for all 3 of them. I'm just going to grab a jump ring because I want to use them to attach my clasps. There are my split rings. Why is it when you need something you can never quite lay your hands on it, can you? Okay, let's go for, I'll go for a 4 mil, but I'll go for a 6. Or an 8 even, I think that one is, for the actual clasp. So when you're attaching them on, you can use a smaller jump ring. If you're going to be attaching the reverse side of your lobster claw clasp, use a bigger one, or you could even use a split ring. I've opened the wrong one there. To make sure that it's not going to come undone. A split ring would be good to use actually, to make sure it's not going to come undone, but a smaller jump ring is going to make it more difficult for your lobster claw clasp to attach onto, so I always tend to use a larger one. Okay, so let's secure my crystals up through the culotte, threading on 2 of my crimp beads up to the top and crushing that together. I'll have to go and find a nice little outfit for Telly tomorrow now that will match these. Do you know, I've probably never been able to sit down and make so much jewellery as when we've been doing these lockdown videos. I've absolutely loved it. I can't remember the last time I probably managed to make so much in so many different techniques. So although you guys tell us you've been loving it, Kitty and I have absolutely loved it as well. It's not very often I would just get up in the morning and think, right, I'm just going to sit down and use this nice technique today. We're always so busy and on the go. So it's given us a nice chance just to start making and familiarising ourselves with just some really nice techniques. Okay, crush those in there. Secure our end. And we're done. Okay, so if you would like to add on, can never open split rings. Yeah, there's actually specific pliers to be able to do that. They are tricky, but that is the whole point of them. With these ones, you could, of course, if you wanted to use a split ring, you wouldn't even need to open it. You could just attach it onto either the culotte, if you've got your pliers to open them up with, or you could thread it straight onto the Tigertail even, I guess, because it's not going to go anywhere, is it? Okay, so let's have a look. My smaller jump rings, I'll show you 2 different ways that we can do this. So I've got my lobster claw clasps. If you would like to make them as just individual bracelets, take one of your smaller jump rings. So I've just got a 4mm jump ring here. You'll see that I'm taking my round nose pliers and holding it vertically across, and that way I can twist and open up that jump ring. That will go straight onto my culotte, straight onto my clasp, and then twist to shut, making sure you can feel those 2 ends rub together so you know it's perfectly closed, and then that's not going to go anywhere. We can do a larger jump ring on the other side, which will make it easier for you to be able to attach on. Now, sometimes your culottes aren't perfectly closed, so I'm just going to edge these together by using my flat nose pliers just to pinch them together, and that will mean that I'm going to get a really nice neat finish on them. So a larger jump ring on one side as a bracelet will make it easier for you to attach your lobster claw clasp onto. Okay, it's probably a little bit big. We should probably go for about a 6, but I'm happy with that. That's fine because I know I'll be able to put it on. And you know me, I'm always rushing around. So that's going to make it really nice and easy. Or if you would like them to be a complete set, we can then use our jump rings. Now this one is probably too small to hold both of them, but let's have a try. There we go. So can you see that if I put them together, they're probably too near each other on these smaller jump rings? It might be okay. Let's have a little look. And then you'll also add on your clasps. I might have space. So you could have a multiple row bracelet. I don't think the clasp wants to stay in there. It's going to spring out. Oh, we've got it. We can squeeze that together, close that jump ring, and you could have a multi-row bracelet. So there's only one clasp, and then that way that's going to be easier for you to wear as well. So on the reverse end, you could do exactly the same thing as we did a moment ago. Use a larger jump ring, attach onto both, but you would need to make sure that both of your bracelets, excuse the dogs in the background, you would need to make sure that both of your bracelets are the exact same length, because that will then give you a perfect finish. And when you're wearing it, of course, you're only going to have one clasp to do up, but you'll still have both of these. I'm probably going to do them as individual ones, just to wear tomorrow for Telly. So I'll undo this afterwards and I'll have 3 individual bracelets that will then make a beautiful set together. Now with your drums, remember you've got these beautiful colours your hematite snake drums. You can make gorgeous necklaces to match. Here Kitty's put the crystals, so the rondelles as well as the rounds, all into one necklace. You could then use various different colours to just highlight them, and as you can see they give you a beautiful finish. Or in this one, look, we've even got 3 of the snake beads, the snake drums, all together, and then your rounds on either side. You could use your rounds to extend the necklace and then use the drums down at the bottom, which are really beautiful. This colour I just think is gorgeous. These two, it's like a blue gold. Don't know if any of you remember the hematite lace bracelets that I made. We had a blue gold one in there as well, and that's absolutely beautiful. So lots of different takes and variations on the beads that you can be using. Hope you really like them. I'm going to wear mine on telly tomorrow. So I'm going to be on Create and Craft 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for the Totally Beads festive show. So I have beaded mistletoe and holly. I've got the Christmas trees. We've got some beautiful necklace kits as well. Lovely. I can see you all replying to each other as well. I'm sorry I haven't really been paying attention to the comments, but I'll go and catch up with them afterwards. And obviously Kitty's been answering as well, which is really lovely. Thank you, Kitty. Okay, so Kitty will be with you tomorrow. Obviously I'll be on air from 9 until 9:45. So you can have a double beading dose tomorrow. You can have me from 9 until 9:45 and then Kitty at 10 as well over on the Facebook page. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go and finish my bracelets now so I can wear them tomorrow, find an outfit to go with them. And I will see you. I'm going to be back with you on here on Thursday, I think. No, because I'm on telly on Thursday. Kitty on Thursday, and then I will be back on Friday. So I'll see you all then. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Hope I've given you a few top tips and tricks using your Tigertail. And I will see you on Friday. Take care, everyone. Bye.